I got new glasses. What do you think? Do you like them? Anyway, today we're going to be going through a quick and effective workout for back with an emphasis on lats. So these short on time workouts I'm going to share with you are designed to be as efficient as possible, meaning you get in and create as much of a stimulus to the target muscle as possible for growth, using the least amount of exercises, equipment, and time. So the key principle behind these workouts is to be doing efficient work, not just work for the sake of work, because anybody can make you tired. But it takes a very specific approach to make sure that you're doing things as productively as possible and using your time wisely. Now, before we get into the workout, I do want to mention that my workout and program library is now live on my app, Ganbaru Method. In there, you'll find dozens of individual workouts just like this, covering everything from muscle building and strength to mobility and joint health goals. And if you want a full 12-week program, there's currently 16 full programs on there for you to choose from. You can try it all absolutely free, so head to the link in the description box below to get it on both Apple and Android devices, or search Ganbaru Method wherever you get your apps from. As a rule, I never take any sponsorships or endorsements, so I can always keep my content completely unbiased and unfiltered to be able to give you the content that I care about. And your support over on things like my app doesn't just give you access to all the cool content and training program that you could ever need, but it helps keep this channel afloat. So go check it out so I can afford gas and electricity for another week. All right, so without any further ado, let's get stuck straight into it. This workout is going to be using just one piece of equipment, the seated cable row. But if you don't have this available, it could also be replaced with an adjustable cable station or even resistance bands, and it can also be performed one arm at a time. I'll show you the band alternative in this video as well as the typical cable variation. So to start, we're going to perform a seated cable row for lats. The technique here should be to have your body slightly inclined forwards, as this places more of your lat fibers into a better aligned position to work against the line of pull from the cables. From here, the focus should be to pull the elbows down towards the hip crease here and not back behind your torso. Back behind the torso will take the stimulus away from the lats and place it more into the upper back and rear delts, which is not the focus of this workout. So when doing this, stop when your elbows get to roughly next to your torso. With the right cueing of driving your elbows down and not back, and having your body positioned forwards, you should find this a pretty intense contraction in your lats. So use whatever grip allows you to do this comfortably. I prefer to use unilateral grips, but anything roughly shoulder width apart will do, as long as it's comfortable for you. I also like to use a slight supination or palms up with the grip, but again, that's up to you and your comfort. So the goal here is to use a weight that has you hitting a failure point at around 6 to 12 reps with a good 2 to 3 second hold in the peak contraction. Once you've reached this point, we're going to take about 10 to 15 seconds break, then transition into the next variation, the Dante row. So this is a variation of a pull for lats that I first saw Dante Trudel using many years ago. It is essentially mimicking a modified lat pull-down motion, similar to how I've taught in the past in another video on my 2 favorite exercises for back, which I'll leave a link for you right up here in the corner. If you prefer, you can of course simply do a lat pull down, but with these kind of shorter time workouts, I'm also using the assumption that you might be training in a busy gym environment or need to condense the amount of equipment you're using for whatever reason. Now, what you'll find here is even though you hit a failure point on the seated cable row, you'll be able to perform more reps with the Dante row even though you're using the exact same weight. The reason is you're training the lats from a different position of flexion. So to try and simplify some of the nerdy muscle physiology geek speak for you, all of your muscles have a strongest point to contract in, or what's sometimes referred to as their resting length. For all of your muscles, whether it's your biceps or your back or your hamstrings, this is when the muscle itself is not fully stretched out or fully contracted, but somewhere in the middle. So the seated cable row places the most tension on your lats when you reach a fully shortened lat back here, where the lats are weaker compared to the mid and lengthened position. which is where tension is being emphasized when you do the Dante row or a lat pull down. So despite the weight still being the same on the bar, you'll be able to get a few more reps out to further stimulate your lats because you're in a stronger position. So for the Dante row, you'll want to position yourself behind the bench and anchor yourself in using your legs. You might want to use a towel or some sort of padding for your legs depending on the bench, as it can get quite uncomfortable otherwise. From here, simply perform the movements and again, think about pulling your elbows down towards your thighs, not necessarily pulling the elbows back behind your torso. It helps to keep your abs crunched slightly the entire time as you're performing the exercise. So the stimulus that you receive here is a lot stronger than what you would receive had you had done both exercises separately. As coming into the second exercise, the Dante row, in this pre-fatigue state, it pushes your body to recruit as many muscle fibers as possible. Also, due to the way that they're paired together, with the weakest exercise, the seated cable row, being done first, you're able to push both exercises really hard, close to failure points, without having to work in a lot of extra reps and sets and volume to warm up your body or to ramp up the weight, which cuts down on the time needed to train. So I would do about 3 or 4 sets here with about 1.5 to 2 minutes between each set. And that'll be it for lats. All up, that will be a complete stimulus on your lats done in at most 15 minutes, but you could probably get it done in less than 10 minutes. So give it a shot and let me know how you go. And as always, drop any comments or questions that you have into the comments section below. Thank you all for watching this all the way through, and I'll see you all next time.